and talk about something else that's happening elsewhere. Narok Senator Ledama Olekina was yesterday grilled by detectives over alleged incitement to violence. This is after a section of Rift Valley leaders mounted pressure on Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet to order his arrest. Now, Olekina appeared before Narok Security Committee Chairperson George Natembea, County Police Commander Thomas Ngeiwa, and his criminal investigations counterpart Zachary Kariuki. He was interrogated for 2 hours over his recent public comments, which are said to have caused a rift between members of communities living in that area. We do have the Senator on the line, on phone this time. A very good morning, Senator Olekina. How are you doing today?
Very well, Ndimuli. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. With regard to the interrogation yesterday, how did you feel it? Because you have denied making those statements. You were interrogated for 2 hours. What do you make of that kind of line of prosecution?
Ndimuli, let me tell you, this issue of incitement is nothing but a red herring. We are focused, the government is focused, the government has determined that everybody must get out of the Mau forest, and that's exactly what we discussed yesterday. In fact, when you look at, and I know you're a journalist, when you look at the clip, you will see that the clip, the frames don't continue throughout. It's an edited clip to fit a particular agenda. So my issue yesterday was very clear. You know, I'm a law-abiding citizen. If anybody purports to suggest that I incited any members of my community to fight members of the Kalenjin community, is at liberty to produce the evidence, and we follow the Evidence Act and proceed.
Senator,
it was very clear, and yes. Frank, I can tell you that, that the issue yesterday was how do we make sure that we do our job. I respect what the security operators are doing.
Yes.
I am mandated by the Constitution as a senator of Narok to be able to protect the interests of the people of Narok. And the interest is not limited to only, you know, them getting their money there, but making sure that their water towers are protected.
Senator Olekina, of course, you are aware of the kind of volatile situation that there exists in that region right now. You've talked about a video that you say was probably edited and manipulated towards a certain end. Do you think that video contributed in any way to the kind of violence we're seeing in that area?
Absolutely not. I can tell you that without any fear of contradiction, that the people who made this happen are those senators like Senator Murkomen, Senator Aaron Cheriot, the Kutunyi, and all the Henry Koech, the people who are not leaders of Narok coming in and purport to direct people in Narok. Narok has its own jurisdictions. It has got its own elected leaders. Remember, Ndumuli, those are the people who went there first. We started this operation way back in July. The moment they got there, they went there and made certain utterances that why either Mao or heaven. What does that mean? And let me tell you, Ndimuli, what happened so that Kenyans can know.
Senator,
what happened is that 2 people were killed. One, there was a Maasai young man who was taking care of his cows. He was killed. He's called Alepere. The second person who was killed was a guy called Maren. Who was, and then they started raiding us with, stealing our cows. Our focus is very clear. We want to preserve the Mau forest and nothing else. Senator, and I can assure you, nothing will stand in between us.
Senator, I do understand it is a very emotive issue, but did you see this push to restore the Mau degenerating into the kind of violence we're now seeing?
Let me tell you, we are very lucky in Ndimuli to have a very good president now who is determined to conserve the environment. Because look at what is happening in the Masai Mau, in the Mara. Right now, the Mara River is completely drying up. Where else are we going to get money to pay the Chinese debt if we cannot be able to generate more money from the Masai Mara? So this thing has been happening. You know, we are not oblivious to the fact that other governments have ignored this issue. When you look at even the first government of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, that is when all these issues of Mao started. When you go to the Moi era, that is when the thievery, the stealing, the encroachment into the forest happened. When it came to Kibaki's period, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga attempted to resolve that matter. But then it became so political, which led to the division, which we have right now. Now, we have a very good president who is determined to ensure that we preserve our environment. Let us support that president.
Yes,
Senator. Ledama is the senator of Narok. He's mandated to preserve the environment.
And as we let you go, Senator, just a final question, because this is the intention, of course, is to preserve the Mau. But the issue of concern right now is the kind of violence we are seeing around that, probably resultant from that initial push to preserve the Mau. Do you think the government has handled this situation well? Because now the concern is the violence we're seeing.
I can tell you this. The national government has been very helpful to us. In fact, that forest is for the county government, and we are doing, and that is why I'm doing my job. And the government has done its job. They have done their work very well, and nobody will get into their way. What has happened, and this is a fact, Ndimuli, we politicians are the ones who have messed up the whole situation. We go in and poke our noses into where we should not be. When Murkomen landed in the Masai Mau, what was he doing saying we protect our people? And one other thing which is very clear that I want to make Kenyans understand, the Kipsigis community living in Narok, the ones who have lived in Narok for, donkey years, have no problem with people being kicked out of the Mau. The people who have a problem are people who are coming from Kericho, coming from Bomet, and coming from Marakwet. But the Kipsigis of Narok are calling me every day saying, Mheshimiwa, we support you.
Okay. Thank you, Senator. Senator Ledama Olekina talking to us on phone. Of course, the senator was yesterday grilled by detectives over alleged incitement to violence, and this is after Rift Valley leaders mounted pressure on Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet to arrest the senator. Let's take a break. We'll be back with a lot more right here on Daybreak.